الله رحيم الله مالك الله قدس الله.
Yo, can I interject? Are you guys finishing?
Interject. Go ahead. What? Wait, hold on. Before you interject, Nick, what did you say you need help with?
Huh?
It's gonna be sent to Amos's DMs, bro. You're good, bro.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, what's up?
Nothing like philosophy related.
Oh, okay. What is it called? So, Joanne, last time we discussed the Trinity and everything and it ended off. So this time I want to discuss with critical Thomists, or presumably I only see critical Thomists to be well acquainted with discussing on the Trinity. Asus, I don't know. Asus, I just see him as a troll. The other two, I don't know them, so I'm not going to make any judgments.
Yeah, you can talk now.
How am I a troll?
In the back anyway, so that's
okay, sure. So critical, you hold to the Thomistic position of the Trinity, right?
No.
Oh, what do you hold to? Is this even the real critical Thomist?
This is my second account.
No, because there was a fake critical Thomist going around trolling.
Yeah, there was actually.
Yeah, wallahi, the one time I got like a friend request from that fake one, and like he started mocking his own religion. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was a flipping some troll. I don't even know who that was.
Yeah.
Imagine getting to a point where people have a fake account of you. Thomas, you're lit.
So you got motion.
That is not motion. That's
motion.
That is.
You got friends.
I call it that guy was terrorizing his name.
Yeah. So anyways, back to what I was trying to say. So you don't hold to a Thomistic model, right? But when I say Thomistic model, I mean like the standard one. Like you just believe God is pure existence and what is it called? These relations or subsistent relations, active subsistences that are relative, are going to be materially identical to that one absolute act, which is going to be pure existence. And by the way, bring up Jad if it's possible. Well, we're not going to dogpile just one of them.
Yeah, they're materially the same and rest.
Yeah, but they're materially identical in what they adhere, but not what they and how they relate to each other. Hence, the distinction is satisfied, correct?
What do you mean by in what they related to each other? Are you saying that they're really different from each other? Yeah.
Yes. Because my argument, all I'm supposing is a distinction between the persons in relation to each other, and they're identical to whatever they adhere in, like the same substratum or substance and so on. So basically the argument, for instance, is that if you take the Son to be identical to pure act or pure existence and distinct from the Father, which is that same reality as pure act, hence you're going to be dealing with some sort of performative contradiction by saying the Son is not ontologically reduced to the same reality said to be or assumed to be ontologically reduced to.
Yeah, so that's the argument?
Yeah.
So the argument commits the fallacy of the ambiguous middle term, right? So the middle term is going to be the term that joins the subject and the predicate in a statement. So like, for example, if I say Nick is fat, obviously Nick is a subject. The predicate fat is there, and then is going to be the middle term. And then if Nick says, what do you mean by Nick is fat? Like, what does is mean there? Then is just going to signify some ontological status of Nick when it comes to the category of size or quantity or something, because that's what fat means. Like, you're
sure, yeah. It's like something with respect to denotative content. How does that relate to what I'm saying, though?
Okay, so the reason why you're committing the fallacy of the ambiguous middle term is because the middle term that's being exercised in the argument is ambiguous. Because you can understand, for one, you can understand the term identical, quote unquote, in multiple ways. You could also understand the term reality.
100%, yeah, 100%. But I'm dealing with this under some sort of like denotative content, like i.e. in reality, some extensional lens. I'm not, in no way, shape, or form, I'm saying, what is it called? I'm including like formalities or whatever. In no way, shape, or form, I'm saying they're formally identical. Just a moment. In no way, shape, or form, I'm saying they're formally identical. I'm not even including formalities to begin with. And all I'm just saying...
I know you're not including that. I'm saying...
Yeah, I know. All I'm just saying, because in reality, they're one and the same in what they adhere in, but they're not one and the same in how they relate to, you're gonna have some sort of like counterintuitive conclusion, which will like tell me that the Son is not what is said to be, which I can justify that by virtue of. Do you want to go on?
It's not true. So you said it's going to be reduced to the principle of contradiction.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that obviously the Son is materially the same as the divine essence. I agree with you.
I assumed that already, yes.
Yeah, but you're saying that because the Father is the divine nature and the Son is the divine nature and the Son is not the Father, or the Son is the divine existence and the Father is the divine existence and the Son is not the Father, then the negation of the divine existence of the Son has to be inferred, right?
Yeah, by virtue of him not satisfying equivalency relation by what satisfies the equivalency relation with the divine nature.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said by virtue of the fact that he doesn't satisfy an equivalency relation with what satisfies an equivalency relation with the Father. I mean, with the divine nature. And this could even carry on to this. One moment, I just want to finish on this point. This could even carry on to the fact of like the functional opposition. I believe the functional opposition even carry on to the absolute aspect. I don't believe Thomists or Suarezians are justified in saying the function of opposition only relates to a relative aspect of God, because I believe they also, I can assume this too, which is the relative and absolute aspect are one and the same in reality to begin with. And because of the equivalency relation, I believe the functional opposition goes on to begin with. And opposition is taken to be a distinction, hence my point about distinction with the divine nature still is there.
So to track basically everything you said in a simple form is that you believe that the opposition between the persons would extend to an opposition of natures.
Sure.
Okay, so let's keep it simple so that people can actually understand. So, obviously, the way that the persons are different, right, in the order of identity is a different order of identity between the nature and the persons. So you asked me for my position. I don't have a specific position. I'm not a Thomist. I'm critical of the Thomistic position. I'm not a Suarezian. My idea of the Trinity is more in alignment with like a Scotistic understanding of the Trinity, a traditional Scotistic understanding of the Trinity. And the point is that
So can I assess that?
Okay, go on.
Yeah, my argument, all it relies on is just two propositions. Do you believe the propositions that persons are materially identical? Sorry, Rumi's comment made me laugh. Anyways, do you believe the proposition that persons are materially identical to the divine nature or to pure existence is true?
The persons are what, sorry?
Materially identical to the divine nature. And I'm using material identity the same way scholastics use it, which is identity in reality or identity entity. That's why I told you earlier, hey, this is cashing out on some sort of like denotative content. Are included, but if you're my argument hinges on, I'm cashing this out in some sort of like denotative content or extensional lens. So that's number one. Number two, the argument still follows because I see the identity relation which you affirmed yourself. You said there's no real distinction between the divine nature and the persons, but there is true opposition. Virtue of the fact that the relative and absolute aspect satisfy an equivalency relation in reality. They satisfy an equivalency relation in reality, hence the absolute and relative aspect are one and the same. That's why I believe it carries over. That's number one. And because it carries over, I believe the distinction between, for instance, take the Son and the divine
like begging
let me just finish my point. Let me just finish my point. And because of the functional opposition carrying over to the absolute act, that is why the Son is going to be discerned from the divine nature in one instance in reality and assumed to be identical to that same divine nature, which is going to be tantamount to a P and a P.
Wait, yeah, look, I have to cut you off when you're talking so that I can actually grasp what you're saying bit by bit so that I don't go over what you're saying. So you're saying that it's because of the equivalency relation that the opposition between the persons is going to extend to the nature, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, for one, okay, before I assume what do you mean by equivalency relation?
Identity and reality.
Okay, so it's because of their real identity, right?
The way I'm catching it on this instance.
Okay, but I just told you how real identity could be understood in two senses.
So, yeah, but that doesn't really answer my point because I already
the nature is entitative, and the persons are not entitatively different from each other. They're really different from each other.
I know, but thing is, listen, the issue I have with this
two completely different things we're talking about.
Can I assess this?
Go on.
Thing is, this is just begging a question because that's just telling me, they're not going to be entitatively different because we classify them and categorize them as not entities, as rather relationally subsistent, like what is called relatively subsistent acts. That is the issue. But that's just begging a question. One moment. Dude, let me finish. I'll let you finish. That's going to be begging a question because you're just saying that, hey, we have the stance where we say the persons are not entitatively different, hence they're not entitatively different because we categorize them differently. I am justifying as to why the functional opposition is going to carry over to why it's going to be entitatively different by virtue of the fact that they're one and the same in reality. Hence, if you take paternity, which opposes filiation in reality, and the relative aspect which these relative oppositions take off, are one and the same with the absolute aspect. The relative and the absolute aspect are one and the same, hence they satisfy an equivalency relation. That is my point. Repeating your stance is just going to be begging a question. You're essentially just saying we have them categorized differently, hence they cannot be the case. I am contesting that. I'm saying that you're unjustified in that assertion, and I'm giving an account as to why my assertion is going to be justifiable by virtue of the fact of the equivalency relation between the relative aspect, which has the functional opposition, and the absolute aspect, which is equivalent to the relative aspect. Go on.
Okay. First off, you need to learn how to speak simply so I can really catch what you're saying. Because every single time, because when I'm talking to you, I genuinely want to actually understand what you're saying. Now, I've grasped what you're saying, but I'm just going to ask you this simple question. I'm going to say one thing and then ask you a question. When you say I'm begging the question, you are bringing an argument to my position, okay? I am giving you the Trinitarian position. I'm giving you my position because you asked me what is my position, the Scotistic position. And then I am giving you the position, and then you're telling me that I'm begging the question. I'm not begging the question because I'm not making an argument. I'm giving you my position.
Can I assess that?
And then I'm gonna have to ask you this question. Do you believe that there can be two things that exist that are entitatively the same, an entity in essence, and have two different formal properties that make a relative opposition between two things in that same entity?
Okay, can I assess this?
And thus constitute two really different things with the same.
Can I assess this?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, your initial point about Scotistic position. Sure, dude, listen, look, about the positions thing, listen, as long as you agreed to the two suppositions that I have, I suppose two stances, and I draw a inference of P and not P therein. You agreed to those propositions, which they're what is called they're identical in reality. I told you it was ambiguous. Just one moment. They're identical in reality to the divine nature, and they're not identical in how they relate to each other. That's all I need. That's what I wanted. Nothing more, nothing less. That is number one. Number two, you mentioned something about begging a question. I'll tell you why it's begging a question. You're giving me one moment. You're giving the premise and a conclusion. And as an undercutter to my to my line of reasoning, which is my argument. That is the whole point. You're trying to give an undercutter defeater, which I see as begging a question. That is the entire point. Why is hold on one moment. One moment. Look. If it is not an undercutter defeater, what else do you have? A no reason defeater? You're just gonna tell me there's no reason to hold to it? I gave you an account. I told you why the function opposite. Just a moment. I gave you an account. I told you a function opposition y if carries over to the absolute act, and you told me, well, I don't know, do you this and everything, well, the stance is this. I'm telling you, this is going to be begging a question because I've given you a reason, so you cannot invoke some no reason defeater therein. I've also, given the fact that you just repeated the stance, hold on, just let me finish. You repeated the stance. You just told me, hey, this is why we believe the persons are not entitatively different, they're only different insofar as their subsistent relations, how they relate to each other as per their correlative notion, which presumably you would agree with and so on. Thing is, that is just not telling me much because I'm giving you an account as to why the function opposition goes through. You're not telling me anything in response to that. You're just repeating the stance.
I asked you a question.
Making a question. And let me respond to your second point because you asked that. For your second point, first of all, I'm being charitable as what is it called, using the scholastic glossary and to cashing out this argument. But when you ask me about like identified within essence, everything, first of all, dude, I'm a person that doesn't even believe essences exist. I take more anti-realist view. If you want my position from that, that's my position. But thing is, that is completely irrelevant and tangential to the topic because the topic is the Trinity and equivalency relations. It has nothing to do with whether or not Vienna believes essences and how they relate to each other and they're identified within each other, trying to obtain. That's not going to tell anybody much. So go on.
Okay, first off, where do you even start here? So, on your first point, I'm not begging the question. I'm stating my position. If you misconstrue my position, then I'm going to reiterate my position. There's no such thing as a quote-unquote no reason defeater. Like, I'm just literally reinstating my position so you can get it right. Second of all, I can accept your propositions for your argument, but I can still say that they're ambiguous. So the more you delineate it and make it specific, the better we can go on in the argument. And I told you that they were ambiguous. So just because I accept them doesn't necessarily mean that the conclusion follows. This happens a lot in philosophy. For two, yeah, you can accept premises to an argument and the conclusion wouldn't necessarily follow because of the ambiguity.
One moment, this is not some sort of, hold on. First of all, a proposition is truth apt. Okay, since you accepted them, where's the point of ambiguity there? That is number one. That is, I don't know where you got that from.
Because the conclusion might be a non sequitur, so it might not necessarily.
One moment, hold on. One moment. If you take. So what is your point?
I'm just saying that there are times when I can accept.
Okay, one moment. Critical. Listen. There is no deduction formally is if the premises are sound, the conclusion cannot fail.
I agree.
What is your point?
I'm saying that I can accept. Okay, let me finish my statement. Okay, look, stop trying to do this. Let me finish what I'm saying. I can accept a statement that you've made and still want to delineate it and make it specific so that the argument can go through.
Then why'd you accept it?
I accepted this. Oh my gosh, man. I accepted the statement that.
Okay. Stop trolling. Yeah.
I accepted the statement that you made. And I said committed the fallacy of the ambiguous middle term. Now I'm gonna go back.
Critical propositions.
I'm gonna go back to what I said before.
If they're not truth apt, let's take a proposition like future propositions, for instance. They're going to be epistemologically.
What does a proposition mean to you?
Oh my God, a declarative statement. But listen, look.
A declarative statement. Okay, look.
Just a moment. Let me finish my point. Now, if you say if there's an instance of epistemological scarcity, which is like epistemic inaccessibility, take future instances, for example, future propositions. For example, CriticalThomist is going to drink water. Or he drank water tomorrow, and so on. And what is it called? In these instances, just a moment, let me finish. In these instances, typically, presumably, you would suspend judgment from this. You wouldn't apply a truth value because it is not truth apt, and you can justify them not being truth apt given some sort of
talking about judging.
Dude, one moment.
No. I was speaking and then you interrupted me. Excuse me. One moment. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about judging a proposition to be true. I'm talking about accepting the.
Then what do you mean accept?
Because I'm talking about accepting the proposition. I'm taking in what you've told me and I'm delineating it. I'm making it more specific to convey.
When you say accept, is that equivalent to taking it as true?
Why did you say
Vienna? I mean, Mod, you have to actually let him speak. I've been listening the whole time. You do interrupt him a lot. I've actually stayed quiet.
One moment, Amos, to assess what you said. Look, by the way, interruptions even happen from his...
Vienna, you're interrupting me as well.
Like, I can play
that's what I'm saying. Vienna, let critical Thomas speak, please, and then you can talk. He's allowed you to speak.
I know. Amos, I'm not doing it intentionally. You know, we're trying to have a dialogue and everything. I even gave him an opportunity to speak, and I believe that was interrupted too.
Okay, here's the thing.
I don't want dog piles.
All right,
just allow each other to speak. That's it.
Let me just finish my thought, because he's interrupting me a lot, but here's the point. Okay, Christians believe in the Trinity, okay? Let's go back to the original point. When I say accept a proposition, I'm just saying, look, I can take it in, I can take the statement and delineate it, make it specific to see if that you understand my position. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm judging it to be true. Now, the term accept, maybe me and you can disagree on what it means, but that's whatever, fine. Let's just talk about the Trinitarian standpoint. On the term of the Trinity, we believe that the person of the Son is different from the person of the Father and is formally different from the essence, and the person of the Son and the Father are really different. And you're saying that the functional opposition, so the fact that the Son is really different from the Father, right? That's going to extend to the nature because the Son has this, all the stupid big analytic terms. Just going to make it simple, that the Son has the same divine existence as the Father, and so because the Son is opposing the Father, the divine existence of the Son is going to oppose the divine existence of the Father. It's that simple. And even if that's your position, and even if you're an anti-realist, as long as you don't want to argue about worldviews, if you can give realist examples or realist metaphysical examples of two formal properties constituting a relative opposition in one material reality, then it's gonna obviously show that at least given a realist worldview, whether you want to talk about anti-realism, at least given a realist worldview, that this is hypothetically possible. Why is it hypothetically possible? Because of the nature of what a form is and the nature of what a res is. The res is what gives action to the formalities or to the qualities, okay? The formalities have enough act to constitute a relative opposition between the formalities in that res. But it does not mean that the opposition between the two formalities, for example, the person of the Father and the person of the Son, extend to the essence, because the esse ad, the relative formality that means being towards in Latin, and the esse in, which is the material reality, those two things are still formally different and they're non-mutually logically identical. So the point is that, for example, a man in a realist view is composed of rationality and animality. Now, obviously, rationality and animality exist in the same time as man. They exist, they have the same reality. But it would be stupid for Nick, Amos, Asus Christus, Gnosis, or Neutral to come up here and tell me, oh yeah, an animal and the fact that a man is an animal and the fact that a man is irrational is the same thing. No, they're not the same thing. They're contradictory. Why? Because in the intellect, right, by its very nature, functions with non-brute items. And the animality, by its very nature, functions with brute items. So the animality and rationality are nowhere formally the same. But however, they're still the same in reality. They still make up the same human being. So we have in reality one person that's constituted of two different formal properties and still have one same reality. We could have two formalities in the divine essence that oppose each other and are different from each other, but they're still constituted of the same reality, the divine nature. And so when you keep saying you're justifying, you haven't given an argument as to why the functional opposition between the persons extend to the nature. You haven't done that. And when you do that, you have already confessed that you're coming from an anti-realist presupposition. According to a realist supposition, it's not justified at all. And I've given multiple real-world examples of how it is not justified. It's so simple. So if you want to counter my argument, please counter.
Okay, can I assess this?
Please counter the real world examples that I gave.
Oh, hold on, pause. So let me assess this. Number one, you mentioned some stuff about like, I'm going to speak counterfactually or hypothetically about, about real world examples. Number one, I want to address one thing. You literally beg the question again because you're just repeating the stance. You're just saying, hey, because they're formally different and so on. Again, dude, I let you speak. Don't interrupt me. Now, for the billionth time, this is my third time saying this. I'm not including formalities. When you tell me they're different, the person or the father is different from the essence within formality, that's literally jargon that is irrelevant to the topic.
It's my position.
Dude, one moment. Why are you interrupting me? Let me finish.
That's why let him talk.
Wait, Amos, the guy is interrupting me. Come on now.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is number one. Number two, I even told you that, listen, when you told me accepting a proposition and everything, not giving a judgment, when you say accept, if you don't take that to be true, I don't know what else do you take that to be. That's number one. Number two, you said the proposition that persons are materially identical to the divine nature is true. And the proposition that persons are different from each other in reality is also true.
Yes. What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly. That is the 2 points. That's the only two suppositions.
What's the problem with that?
Why are you interrupting?
I'm not interrupting.
Yeah, exactly. So let me finish. Anyways, so that is the 2 points. That's the only two proposition my argument hinges on, nothing more. Now, once you assess that, I said, because of this fact, because this equivalency relation hinged on the first proposition I've given and the opposition given between in relation to the persons, I believe the function of opposition would carry on to the absolute act by the virtue of the equivalency relation. One moment. By virtue of the equivalency relation that is satisfiable between the absolute and relative aspect. That is the entire point. And for the counter examples, one moment. For the counter examples, humanity and rationality, 1 minute. I'll even suppose realism for your view. All you're saying, there's a human being such that human being satisfies the property of humanity and rationality. That is it. It just picks out different features of the subject. That is all properties are. You're not giving me a point. Nobody says the property. One moment. Nobody says the property of humanity and rationality is one and the same as as humanity in the sense that we're talking about equivalency relations.
Animality and rationality.
Yeah. Anyways, now for the final point, you haven't given me any response against against my argument, which is why the function of opposition carries over, and in turn that would implicate a contradiction. But all you've done is repeat the stance. I've given you an account as to why the function of opposition carries over, because you believe the opposition is real. You believe the identity is also real. And because the absolute and relative aspect are identical, the equivalency relation is satisfied, hence the function of opposition carries over.
Okay.
So one moment. I want to ask you two questions. Hold on.
No, but why does
I want to ask you two questions. One moment. Let me finish.
That's why. Hold on. Let him ask the question.
One moment. So first question, when you said the propositions, you accept them, if you don't take them to be true, what does accept here mean? Because I genuinely think you're trying to save yourself from the blunder you made on deduction. And second of all, when you told me, hold on, one moment. When you told me also, when you mentioned formal opposition, everything, you believe the opposition is real. So please cut off the formality stock. I'm cashing this argument out on identity and distinction in reality. So go on.
Okay, for one, you're critiquing my position. When I reiterate my position, I'm not begging the question. I'm trying to make you understand my position. The reason why I'm not begging the question is because the fallacy of begging the question is the informal fallacy predicated to arguments that are being made by a subject to another subject. And it's the informal fallacy where you assume the truth of your position. Of course I assume the truth of my position, but that's not what I'm doing in making an argument to you. I'm just reinstating my argument so that you can understand it. Stop doing this whole flirtatious stuff for the TikTok. Please, just have a genuine conversation. I'm so tired of flirtatious things. Look, I am telling you right now that when you counter my position, you have to, at least from my standpoint, grant the truth of my position to actually make a deductive argument and show that my position is false. So I'm not saying that you have to believe my position to be true, but just at least grant the truth of my position and from a deductive argument, you can show how my position is false.
So critical, please.
Now, the point is that when I said I accept your proposition, I'm not running away from a blunder. You just don't know. Like, Bro, people use English in different ways. When I say accept your proposition, I'm not saying that I'm judging it to be true. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm saying that, look, I've taken your statement and I can believe in it if you make it more specific. That's all I mean by accepting the proposition. And I literally told you,
it's not true.
let me finish. I literally told you.
Go on, my bad.
I told you that was the case because I said, look, your argument still commits the fallacy of the ambiguous nature of the middle term in the proposition. So I told you this before I told you I accepted. So I said, look, your statement is ambiguous. Now, if you specify it and delineate it, okay, then I can grant it to be true. That's all I said, and that's what I meant by accepting it. But whatever, even if you don't want to use the term accept like that, that's none of my business. I'm talking about the nature of God, the Trinity. So let's stick on it. Now, you're talking about the equivalency relation necessarily demonstrating that the opposition between the persons in the Trinity would extend to the nature. My friend, how does that work if I've given you real-world, realist examples of how two objects can be really different and still be the same in res and have two different formal objects? I've given you the example of a human being. You kept reiterating, oh no, humanity, rationality. That's never what I said. You don't listen. I said animality and rationality. Those are two different formalities in a human being. They're not just two different properties. Why are they not just two different properties? Because they're inherently contradictory, but they still constitute the same nature of a man. When I see G1, I see him use his intellect. Though that is a spiritual faculty, it deals with forms, which are spiritual because they're abstracted from matter. When I see G1, he uses his intellect and his will. But yet, when I see G1, he still uses his senses. These things, his senses, don't deal with the same thing his intellect deals with. His senses deal with brute and material things, and his intellect deals with spiritual things and things beyond. Now, in the G1, in the nature of G1, as a man, he still has these two formalities, and they still make up what G1 is. Because if G1 was just a soul, I wouldn't say he's just a man. If G1 was just a body with no soul, I wouldn't say he's just a man. G1 is a body principled by a soul, so he's constituted of both, and they're formally different. And even if you assume your position, the ridiculousness of anti-realism, even if you assume the position of nominalism, whatever, in this reality, then we can debate nominalism. But insofar as you're granting my realist supposition to be true in order to counteract my argument, then you cannot assume your position. So stop telling me, oh,
okay, can I assess this?
You have to. No, I'm still speaking. You wait. You wait. You have to grant my position in order to counteract my argument. If G1 has two different formalities and they're constituting the same rest, the same material identity, why does the opposition between his rationality and his animality don't extend to G1? Why? Why do we not have two different G1s? Why? Because the nature of a rest or a reality can be constituted of different formalities. There's no problem with that. And you can still have two different opposing formalities. And you can have two different formalities that virtually contain themselves, like love and power. Like love and the will, or something like that. And you can have two different opposing formalities, like rationality and animality. Those are two different things. Now, in God, we have we have both of them. We have two virtually contained formalities, which is what some people want to say virtue distinctions. So love, power, will, intellect, all those things. And then we have the other one, opposing formalities, which is the paternity, the property of filiation, and spiritus in Latin, the spiration of the blessed Holy Spirit. Now, what happens is that because of the nature of the adequacy of these formalities, they don't necessarily have to execute or reduce the opposition between the persons to the nature, because the whole reality of a formality is to make sure that the essence being considered is activated or being principled by the formalities, and the formalities can still remain different, but the essence would remain one, integral, and the same. The same way that the formalities of G1 are completely opposingly different, they're even contradictory, but they constitute one man, G1. The same way that the formalities in the divine nature are different, but they constitute one divine essence, the divine God, Jesus Christ. Now, if you're talking about why is how are the persons different? Yes, the persons are different by relative opposition. To be different, the way that the essence is different from the person and the way that the persons are different from each other are completely two different things. The essence is different from the person formally, qualitatively. The essence is logically different from the properties, but the essence is different from the persons formally. Now, the persons are different from each other relatively and only by opposition. This is completely two different ways that they're different. So in order for you to make an equivalency relation, to say that the opposition reduces back to the nature, you have to make sure that the difference between the persons and the difference between the natures is the same. But it's not the same. And so it does not run down to that conclusion. That's my whole point. So please,
can I assess this?
my position. Stick with my position.
Can I assess this? One more, no, Dr. Let's keep it with one-on-one. Anyway, so when you said accepting the proposition, I still think you're trying to save face by your blunder. Oh, the deduction and everything. But don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you. Because again, if you said accepting the proposition, I didn't mean accepting the way you meant it. I just meant like I believe in it once the sense of ambiguity is removed. Well, genius. If there was ambiguity, that means it's not truth up to you. Yeah. Well, then say that. That's number one. Number two, my bad. Number two, you mentioned another thing about what is it called? Oh, I'm not begging a question. I'm just resetting my stance. That is the entire point. Do you even know what reductios are? I'm assuming your stance. I'm saying, yes, this is your stance, and I'm going to draw a contradiction, but by some sort of inference. That is the entire point. That is what reductios are. By you telling me your stance, that's just going to be begging a question. That is the entire point. Nobody responds to reductios. Hold on one moment. Nobody responds to reductios by saying, by repeating the stance that is assumed. That is nonsense. What is it called? The stance is assumed to begin with to infer the contradiction. That is number two. Number three, you told me about the whole thing about animality and rationality. First of all, are you aware that if you say the persons are just virtually distinct, which is a conceptual distinction with the foundation in reality, or under my terms, it'll be just a causal mode of significance. That's gonna tantamount to Sabellianism. That's not gonna tell us. One moment. Hold on. Pause. Listen, I didn't interrupt you. Go back and mute. So that's gonna tantamount just to Sabellianism, which is heresy, which is just gonna be modalism, some sort of modalism. My entire point hinges on the proposition which you accepted, which they are in reality opposed. In reality opposed. Remember the in reality opposed. And the argument cashes this out under in reality. So when you tell me irrationality and animality, that is only virtually distinct. Or if you're, at least insofar as how Thomas takes it, virtually distinct. I said you don't believe, one moment. You don't believe the persons are just merely virtually distinct. You believe in reality they're opposed. So listen, what are you interrupting? Anyways, if you believe the proposition the persons are truly in reality opposed to be true, and the second proposition, and they satisfy an equivalency relation in reality to the divine nature, then the argument still stands. Because then the functional opposition, which is taken off within the relative aspect or how they relate to each other, that is a real opposition. That is not merely a virtual distinction. That is a real opposition, and this takes off within the relative aspect, but the relative and absolute aspect are one and the same in reality. They satisfy the equivalency relation. Hence, the functional opposition carries over. That is the account I'm giving. You haven't given any other counterexample to this. You've just repeated the stance, which I assume for the reductio. So I'm not even aware if you know what reductios are. I'm not even aware how you handle how propositional attitudes are conventionally, because it's except, but there's ambiguity. You're a genius. There's not truth have to begin with because of epistemic scarcity.
I am a genius.
The final point, one moment, final point. If you take the functional opposition to be equivalent in reality and not merely, and the functional opposition in what is it called, is truly real and not merely virtual, like that of animality and rationality, which is heresy to say, which is Sabellianism to say, between the persons and in relation to the persons, then what is that point? That has nothing to do with my argument. So again, the functional opposition carries over. One moment, hold on, pause. Okay. One moment, I'm not done. I let you. I didn't know he's still talking. Continue. What do you mean you didn't? Are you not tracking what I'm saying?
No, I lagged out.
It's
Continue.
okay, don't worry. Carry on, carry on.
man. Jeez.
Yeah, anyways, so listen, I've given you an account as to why the functional opposition carries over. I said by virtue of, because of this, because of the equivalency relation that is satisfied in reality. You've given none. You just assume the stance, which I assume for the reductio. That is not how you counter reductios at all.
Okay, you done now?
One moment. We're not going to have this, like, just a moment. Why are you laughing? Everything. By the way, you made a blunder on deduction, you made a blunder on propositional attitudes, and you told me about animality and rationality, which are only virtually distinct. You don't believe the persons in relation to each other are only virtually distinct. You believe they're truly opposed.
I don't
in
believe that
reality
guy
opposed.
explicitly said that. There's no way he explicitly said they're virtually distinct.
Wait, Jad,
listen.
hold on, brother. One second. You can talk after.
One moment. So, critical. I want to ask you something.
Yeah, go on.
So listen, critical, since I've told you the false equivalency there, and I've told you, what is it called? The whole point about begging a question, don't just, I've already assumed your stance. Telling me about your stance is not going to do anything because I'm assuming your stance for the reduction I'm making. So don't tell me about your stance, pick out the error within my line of reasoning. Tell me about my line of reasoning included the equivalency relation in reality. Hence, the functional opposition carries over. That is my entire point. Explaining your stance is just going to be begging a question because I already assume it to begin with. I'm just explaining the absurdity that I draw out from the stance that I assume. So go on.
Okay, 1 second. Does Jad, do you want to say anything?
Bro.
No, it's
I
only
just thought it was like
between-
silly. Like if critical actually gave an example of animality and rationality to show an analogy.
Okay.
No dogpile.
Okay.
But Jad is just reiterating what I said is that
Yeah, no,
they're
I
not
was
merely
just
virtually
curious if he
distinct.
actually said that.
No, come
Okay.
on.
Give an example so we'll be able to speak more on person.
Can I speak now?
Go on.
Okay. This is the most stupid thing. Like, this is so stupid. I swear, people on TikTok, like, you're actually
Not an argument.
supposed to be an intelligent person, and you can't even track what I said. So, the example that I brought, this is so dumb. The example that I brought between the formalities of G1, rationality and animality, okay? Those weren't examples to show how the persons in the Trinity are distinct. Those were examples to show how two things can be distinct and still have the same res. You went on 5 hours talking about nothing. Nothing. That wasn't an example to show how the persons are distinct. 1. 2. You keep reiterating a position I do not hold. Vienna, whatever your name is. Because I do not hold that rationality and animality in a man are virtually distinct. I told you that I am not taking the Dominican Thomistic position. It's one thing to be Thomist, and it's one thing to be a Dominican. One thing to be Thomist, and it's one thing to be a Dominican. Implicated in Catholic theology. Okay, I take the Scotist position more when it comes to things like God and the essence and the quiddity of a form and its reality and its relation with act and potency. And I told you this before the argument even started. You just don't understand the argument. It's embarrassing. Now, when it comes to the Lord Jesus Christ, I'm going to tell you, don't be making jokes around because you don't know what you're talking about.
What?
Jesus Christ as a person is formally different from the essence. I've told you this so many times, and you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. Jesus Christ as a person is formally different from the essence. So what it means to be a form differs amongst some scholastics. But to me, what a form is a quality of a particular thing. A form is the qualitative aspect of some entity X. The formality of a person is qualitatively different from the essence, because the essence is the principle of action in a thing, and the person, by virtue of what it is the supposition or the suppositum of something that has individuated a nature that has a rationale. And so the formality of the person of the Son is only formally different from the divine essence. And the Son relatively opposes the Father by a relation. But that's not how the persons are different from the divine essence. The persons are different from the divine essence formally, not really. So for someone to come to me, okay, someone comes to me on the street, he says, okay, cool, look, you believe in the triune, one true Jesus Christ Lord. I said, yes. The person then comes to me and says, okay, cool. The persons are relatively different. I say yes. And the person says, okay, but the essence is the same in reality as with the Son. I say yes, they are formally different, but they're materially the same. And he does not know what I mean by formal distinction, because he thinks that I'm just taking a virtual. No, a formal distinction. They are formally different, qualitatively different, right? And the person says, okay, cool. And they assume what I mean onto what I'm saying. And then the person says, okay, cool. If the Son and the Father are formally different from the divine essence, and the Father and the Blessed Son oppose each other, then if the Son is the same, now when they say the same, look what they have, look what they do. They say, oh, but the Son is the same as the divine nature, or the divine existence, and the Father is the same as the divine existence. Therefore, the Father and the Son must be the same. And I'm saying, okay, what do you mean by the word same? What do you mean by the word same? Because they're the same in what way? Formally, qualitatively, ideally, eminently, virtually, really, materially, entitatively. In what way are they the same? I say that they're only the same entitatively, as in that you can technically say, as St. Augustine said on the Trinity, Book 4, Chapter 6, that the Father is the same as the Son. Someone can actually say that the Father is the same as the Son. But then what does St. Augustine mean by that? And what did the Blessed Scholastics mean by that? That the Father and the Son in the divine nature have the same entity. Now, that's a different way of understanding the word same. But when we say that the Father and the Son are different, how are they different? They're different by the way they're related to each other. So the equivalency between the distinction of the Father and the Son and the distinction between the Father and the Son and the essence are not the same. So to say it's going to collapse doesn't follow true.
Can I assess this?
Because the equivalency is not clarified. That's one.
Can I assess this?
And if you bring, no, you're not going to assess until I'm done speaking. If you bring up, right, me talking about accepting a proposition one more time because you disagree with my utility of a specific word, I'm going to conclude that you're a sophist and I'm going to leave the life.
Wait, hold on. Wait, pause.
Sticking on the
utilizing fallacies to get my point across. Which fallacy did I use? One more. No. You're not going to do this tactic.
Why are you interrupting me? Why are you interrupting me now? Okay, go on.
You don't make any accusations of someone. Can I assess what you said?
Go on.
Yeah. First of all, sophistry is just utilizing what is it called, fallacies to get my point across. So which fallacy did I use?
No.
Hold on. Pause. You want me to go back on mute? Let me finish.
No.
You said go on. You said go on and you stopped.
No, I'm not gonna let you finish.
Bro, you literally said go on.
No. So
you're gonna retract what you said 10 seconds earlier?
No.
Yeah, exactly. One moment. G1, he literally said go on. One moment. Why is he interrupting me?
He interrupted me.
Allow him to finish his response, my bad. I misspoke.
Anyway.
Yeah. Go on.
Who are you saying that to, G1?
Critical, and then you can respond afterwards.
But he said go on. What?
Because you interrupted me. Maybe if you didn't interrupt me, you'd be allowed to continue your statement.
Why'd you say go on? You could have said don't interrupt.
Come on, man.
He doesn't listen to anything, do you?
Time is money.
I literally listened to
He literally
go
said go
on.
on.
That's my job. I listened.
Then he said
You're an
go on.
animal.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
bro.
I was confused. I was like, why is he saying go on after
Speak, man. Like, Jared, I don't want to kick you, man. Just let Critical speak.
Okay, here's the thing. He's gonna be. He literally just said, "Oh, sophistry means blah blah blah," but I have a different understanding of what it means to be a sophist. And the funniest thing is, he consistently does this thing where he forces what his understanding of a particular word or a particular semantic term, how it's used according to him, and he tries to use it to refute me. No, Henry Grenier, right, a French philosopher and theologian in the 16th to 18th century, he wrote in his book on the volume on logic, right after he spoke about the principle of contradiction, he spoke about sophistry. He doesn't define sophistry as just merely using logical fallacies. That's not what he defines sophistry as. And that's not what the Bible uses the term sophistry as. And that's not what the oldest philosophers use the term sophistry as. So stop trying to force your stupid understanding of a word on me. Please stick to the point. And also make sure, don't even run away from it. Answer my objection, right, of how there is seemingly no equivalency between the way the persons are distinct and between the way they're distinct from the essence. And thus, the opposition between the blessed persons of the divine Trinity is not going to be reduced to an
Can I assess this?
essence and face and
Wait,
process.
first of all, is my voice audible? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyways, so look, so let me just recap the entire thing. First of all, on the virtual point, again, like the point about, basically the entire point, look, guys, Vienna's argument against the Trinity, which the two propositions he only needs to suppose, which CriticalThomist said are true, is wrong because CriticalThomist, he doesn't take a Dominican position on animality and rationality. He takes a Franciscan position, guys. He takes a Franciscan position on rationality and animality. Therefore, the argument is wrong. So that is his entire point for the first half of it. Complete non sequitur, complete derail, doesn't address anything I've said, and that's just an implicit admission that Dominicans are just gone out the window and thrown into the trash bin. So let me address the Franciscan point, okay? One moment, hold on. Let's listen. Let me address this point, okay, Mr. I'm not a Thomist, okay? Listen, I want to assess this point about humanity and rationality. I mean, animality and rationality, my bad. Again, those just pick out different features, hence they're just virtually distinct. There's a conceptual distinction with the foundation and reality. Now, again, this entire argument where I given you two propositions, you accepted, you said it's true. Not accepted in your own ambiguous way, where you said propositions are not true that, but you accept them, and then I don't even know what that means. This whole blunder about what even propositional attitudes are and what deduction is. So, what is it called? My point about the argument hinges on two propositions you said are true. Now deny the line of reasoning there. You've done nothing except give me a counterexample and then responding to the counter rebuttal I've given you by saying, I'm not a Dominican, I'm a Franciscan about rationality and rationality. Listen, at that point, it's just that's the whole point is just derail. Now, what's that's irrelevant even still. Like
He's not tracking, bro.
One moment. What do you mean he's not tracking?
He's not
You
tracking.
didn't track. One moment. Let me finish my point. The initial point I've given you, I've assumed, given the two propositions you said it was true, I've already assessed that, and the argument still follows therein, and I've given you why it follows. Because one moment, why are you interrupting?
Oh, sorry.
I let you talk for 15 minutes.
Continue.
Anyways, because of the fact of the equivalency relation that is satisfied there, which you already accepted, explaining your stance, which I already assume is not going to tell me much, because this is a reductio. I'm drawing the absurdity, I'm showing you the absurdity from the assumption of the stance. Whatever you're explaining, critical, one moment, whatever you're explaining there, I am assuming it. I'm saying it is true, and this is how it entails an absurdity. This is the entire point. Now, assumption here, to actually explain your point about, maybe you don't even know what assumption is there. Assumption here is not merely your own fantasizing way of like acceptance and everything. No, the proposition is truth-apt, and you judge it to be true. Now your weird, ambiguous way of truth and everything. And then one part of his message was this way of like, I don't know, like we're not in the streets of London. Don't threaten me, the Lord Jesus Christ, everything. That's not going to tell me. Why are you interrupting? Yeah, exactly. Hold on, critical, yo, go back on mute. Anyways, listen, look, the whole point about don't joke with the Lord Jesus Christ, completely right. And the other point was ad hominems. Listen, the entire point was gibberish off the top to bottom, and half the time it was just ranting about how he's a Franciscan.
Wouldn't be considered gibberish, but
one moment. Half the time, one moment. I'm trying to respond. Why are you guys trying to dogpot? Every single time a Muslim came here and there was a moment of like potential dogpot, I said don't dogpot. So don't dogpot on me. Anyways, so every single time, what is it called? The other half of your rebuttal, there was like you yapping and just complaining that you're a Franciscan about rationality and animality. It's not going to tell me much. As long as you believe the equivalency relation is going to be within denotative content, i.e. content that's going to be real, ontologically committed to, the argument, and you said already the propositions which express this are true. You said the proposition, the persons are relatively opposed, in reality is true. You said the proposition, the persons are identical to the divine nature in reality are true. That is all I need. If you repeat the stance, which I assume for the reductio, is not going to tell me much. Nobody ever assesses a reductio by repeating the stance, which the reductio assumes. That's going to be begging a question. And your final point about what is animality and rationality, frankly, I even said, like, what is it called? I'm talking about with some sort of like Dominican assessment of this, which is why I said Aquinas in the beginning. When I talked about
my gosh.
And if you mention Scotist, hold on, when you mention Scotist, again, If you believe animality and rationality are opposed in reality, in the same way the persons are opposed in reality, then what is it called? And I believe that distinction is going to be false too. And that's number one. Number two, and I'd argue the Dominicans had a better idea of it because they're only merely virtually distinct. No, number two, if you believe animality and rationality are not different the same way the Trinitarian persons are different with respect to each other, then it's not analogous to begin with. That is the entire point. Complete derail, complete, what is it called? Complete non sequitur. You've shown nothing. The only thing you've demonstrated is, number one, you use accepting in some sort of like vague way to save face from the blunder you've committed on deduction and propositional attitudes. Mr. I accept the proposition, but I don't truly accept it because it's not true because of ambiguity. Well, then it's not truth. So that's blunder number one. Blunder number two, which you talked, what is it called? Which you yapped about, like, oh, man, this is the position. This is the position, man. This is the position. At the same time, the stances I assumed within the argument you said are true is... So you assess the reduction by repeating the stance. That is completely a blunder. You don't even track. You've completely not tracked any of what is it called, of the premises of cashed up for this argument. Nothing, zinch. All you're repeating, one moment, or you're just repeating the stance which is assumed within the reductio. That's number two. Now, blunder number three, you yapping. Oh, it's not necessarily a blunder, but it's just you yapping. Like one time you're threatening me. Am I getting muted?
We don't.
Who's the troll playing sound effects? Yeah, anyways, one time you're threatening me with, like, again, we're not in the streets of London, so calm yourself.
Speed up the...
Yeah, you didn't tell him to speed up, and he yapped younger than me.
Because I didn't expect you to take this long.
Well, and he took 15 minutes.
No,
I
he
took
didn't
less than
take that
10
long,
minutes.
Vienna. Come on, bro. Like, it took me, it's like 3, bro.
This guy's rude.
Yo, let's continue. Downstairs, grabbed the apple, came back, and what's going on, man?
Anyway, so listen.
Just continue.
One more. We're not gonna. Listen, I want to further the dialectic. By the way, like, G1, I don't know why you're being unfair because he spoke for longer, and he said I didn't expect this to take this so long. Anyways, so critical. Let's engage in a back and forth. Do you believe? Let's engage in a back and forth very quickly. Do you believe that the distinction between animality and rationality, when it's said within a subject, is it the same distinction as it's said within the Trinitarian persons?
You made a couple of points. I'm going to respond to them before I even do the back and forth thing. So for one, my friend is Muslim. Listen, making it simple. First off, there's a particular understanding of what it means to be a Thomist. So to be a Thomist, and this is what a lot of people don't actually understand, because they just watch YouTube, watch TikToks, and then go away and sit back home, which is what you do. To be a Thomist means that you're studying the blessed Saint Thomas Aquinas. Okay? Now, there are people that follow Saint Thomas Aquinas, but there's people that follow Saint Thomas Aquinas and claim different ways of understanding what Saint Thomas Aquinas taught. So some Jesuits call themselves Thomists, Scotists call themselves Thomists, funny enough, and a lot of Dominican Thomists don't actually hold it. Some of them disagree with Aquinas on certain things. It's complex in the Blessed Catholic Church, and it's complex in the Blessed Catholic theology. If you don't know the theological framework, stop talking on it. You're embarrassing yourself. Okay? Now, when it came to the formalities of a man, rationality and animality, these two things are formally different, which means they're qualitatively different and in reality not the same. But they're still materially the same in G1 and make him up as one man. I brought the example not to show that the persons are only formally different from each other. That's heretical. In the Council of Florence, it states
that is my point. You confirmed it. Yes,
shut up. I'm still speaking. Shut your mouth. I'm still speaking.
You're still upset with the blunder you made.
You keep quiet. Now, in the Council of Florence, thank you very much for keeping quiet. In the Council of Florence, right, it says that the persons are only distinct by relative oppositions. They're only different by the way they're relatively opposing each other, okay? Now, I believe that they are only different by the way they relatively oppose each other. But when you say, my friend, listen one more time. When you say that the Father and the Son are the same as the divine essence, and you ask me for my position, okay? What does it mean for them to be the same as the divine essence? Which is why G1 in the comments said you're not addressing my position. Because you're not. What does it mean according to critical... 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 What does it mean? It's evident in so many scholastic ideas of particular things in reality. So an example of this, even though Reed or Rad, or whatever his name is, would disagree with me on how they're distinct, is that a common idea of motion in Aristotelian philosophy is that motion itself is a res. It's a thing in reality, okay? Motion is a thing in reality. Things really change. Now, there's a difference between act and potency. Potency is the capacity to receive act. Act is the existence, the perfection of that capacity. And obviously, in relation to motion, you're going to have action and passion, which is just, potency and act. Now, the difference between action and passion are, according to me, relatively opposite. So action and passion relatively oppose each other. But they are formally distinct from motion because passion is qualitatively different from change, and action is qualitatively different from change. But in reality, they're still the same thing, because when you have action, you have change. When you have passion, you have change. But action in accordance or in reference to passion are relatively different. This is a metaphysical example that Aquinas actually gives in question 23, I think, or question 20. This is a metaphysical example of having one res, one material reality, one entity constituted of two formalities, and those formalities bringing about a relative opposition. The same way that the blessed divine essence in the Trinity is constituted of two formalities in this particular scenario when we're talking about the Father and the Blessed Son. And those formalities is going to be paternity and filiation. The same way that the formalities of motion is going to be action and passion. And paternity brings forth a procession to filiation, which is the Son. And now the Father and the Son relatively oppose each other the same way action relatively opposes passion. How is someone going to say, okay, because action opposes passion, you're going to now divide motion into two? Or like the opposition between action and passion is going to extend back to motion. No, it's not going to extend back to motion, because the identity relation is different. The way that action and passion are different is different from the way that action and passion are different from motion. And the way that the Father and the Son are different from each other is different from the way the Father and the Son are different from the divine nature. So the point is that the Father and the Son, right, is analogous to that of motion. And we have a metaphysical example of how a relative opposition does not contract itself back to its rest. Why? The only reason why is because the identity relation between the Father and the Son, and between the Father, the Son, and the Essence are not the same. And so if they're not the same, your whole argument about equivalency, all that, they all collapse. That's the whole point. Simple. Simple as. You're never going to debunk the Trinity. Stop it.
So can we actually have this back and forth before, like, you yapping about action and passion, which is just...
Yeah, let's have the back and forth.
So listen, look, you already assessed... One moment, hold on, yo, go back on mute. Anyways, listen, you already assessed... One minute, hold on, you said it's not analogous.
Are you having a back and forth?
Dude, one moment. Listen, you
already
already
said... Are you talking or are you having a back and forth?
Yeah, we're trying to have a back and forth, but you don't interrupt.
Okay, go on.
Yeah,
Make your assertion.
1 minute, yeah, exactly. Even your back and forth...
Make your assertion.
Even your back and forth is your own private language with you accepting our proposition. Anyways, listen, look. And one moment, G1, don't talk about...
Keep it cordial.
Yeah, one moment. Dude, I'm literally calm. Anyways, listen. Look,
He's just telling you keep it cordial, man. Relax your pants.
oh no, but bro, I'm relaxed. You start threatening me. Listen, Critical, you try to like pull up on me.
Relax. Like, it's not
Don't
that
talk
deep,
about the
bro.
Lord Jesus Christ.
man.
Do you know what
I'm gonna
saying?
leave.
Like,
Anyways, listen, look, we're derailing. 1 minute, yo, go back on topic. Listen, be a good boy. Listen, so Critical. Again, you already conceded to what I said.
my
It's
son.
not
What's up?
analogous. Yeah, exactly. I am your master. Be a good boy.
My son, what's up?
Listen, no, look, listen. You literally called me master. You know
My
who you're
son,
talking to.
what's up?
I'm gonna mute both of you. Bro, I swear, please allow Vienna to respond, innit? And please, Vienna, please don't.
My bad.
If you derail, he's gonna derail. And if he derails, you're gonna derail. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Anyways, so let me assess this. Anyways, the guy said it's not analogous. So about the action and passion. Anyways, action and passion about motion. Well, there's just instances of motion. They're under the category of motion, and they then can be set off as subject.
I disagree.
So, one moment. Why are you interrupting?
Wait, hold on.
Anyways, they can be. G1, why are you interrupting?
Because I'm telling you this. So you don't want me to, I can't lie, bro. Don't make me kick you, bro. I'm trying to help you out, and you're saying, why am I? I'm the host. What the heck?
So you're trying to put him on his leash? Go on.
I can't like relax, bro, because I'll kick you. Because now you're just disrespecting me, him, and
Bro, he literally threatened me. I was trying to cash out my argument. He was like,
legit,
if you disrespect the Lord Jesus Christ one more time,
Bro, you know what? Let me just.
Yeah, you can't disrespect your maker.
I
man.
never. 1 minute. I'm known to not blaspheme.
You can't disrespect your maker, bro.
Bro, hold on. How would I have a countdown? And
You can't disrespect your maker, bro.
That's fine. My God created your God. Anyways, listen, look. So back to what I was saying. So listen, look. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Look, these are just instances of motion, or they can be expressed within an intentional context. I.e., this is the act of passion. This is the act of what is it called? Act of action, and so on. Act and passion therein. That is the entire point. Or there can be instances like dark red and light red under the category red. This is not going to express some sort of equivalency relation therein. We're talking about equivalency relations. You don't even know what I'm saying. You half the time just repeated the stance, and the stance I assume for the reductio. And you already said it's not analogous to begin with. And 1 moment, listen, you already said it's not analogous to begin with. And why are you bringing them up? Man up, muster up the courage. You said the Lord Jesus, everything. Muster up the courage to defend your Lord and show me why he's not a non-being in front of everybody. Muster up the courage. Stop giving me outdated scholastic examples, which I've addressed a billion times. And one, yo,
no, your time is gone.
Address this one by one, and be a man. Address the argument that I'm giving you. Go on.
Shut your mouth, you flipping pagan. Now listen. My son. Yeah, because you know you're
upset.
You're a pagan.
You're upset.
So listen. Now, yes, give me that spotlight. Thank you. My son, Vienna, you listening? You listening? Oh, you're on mute. I don't know why. It's scared of me.
There's gonna be 2 minutes. It's gonna be like what? 3 minutes. Vienna, what do you
He's a stone worshipping pagan. So true.
2-3 winners, Vienna. Which one? Hurry up.
Okay, so what was I gonna say? Okay, see, this guy's you're a professional idiot.
You got 2 minutes in it. Go ahead.
It's very hard to be an idiot, but you excel in that job. So now I brought you the metaphysical example. Your argument was to suppose that my position leads to a contradiction, and then this idiot is assuming his position. He's telling me, oh yeah, motion is just composed of instances and all these things. He's supposing his stupid nominalist, anti-realist, dumb David Hume, heretical, paganistic view. And he's not showing me from my position the contradiction. He's assuming his nominalistic position. This is why this guy's an idiot. Now, Vienna, you tell me without assuming your stupid position on universals and look, if you want to have a debate about nominalism, please be my guest because I'll do that all day. But insofar as you're talking about the Lord your God, you better assume my position to show me the contradiction in my position. Otherwise, you're just yapping. Now, obviously, right, I want you, please, to just attack my position from my standpoint. How does what I say from my standpoint go against? My time is going up. How does what I'm saying from my standpoint contradict itself? Stop assuming your stupid bundle theorist nominalist view on my position. It's that simple. Now, go ahead.
See you, man. Cool.
Anyways, so listen, look, yo, hold on. Critical. So you mentioned nothing except you given counter examples, which I've already addressed. I told you instances, and I told you this can be expressed within some sort of intentional context, my bad. And this intentional context is not going to denote it's not going to give denotative content. That is number one. And you even said they're not analogous to the Trinity. You clown. You already said this. Number two, where in the argument? This guy said universals. There is nothing within the argument that talks about universals or nominalism. The only thing in the argument, just which the propositions he agreed to, he said, yes, the persons are identical in reality to what they adhere in. And yes, the persons are opposed to what they relate and how they relate to each other. In reality, there's true relative opposition and there's true identity. This clown doesn't even know what he's talking about. So listen, Critical, stop running to the examples that I've already assessed 1,000 times, okay? Now, and also don't threaten me with like the Lord Jesus Christ. I've never blasphemed. I never disrespected. You just blasphemed, but I'd be the bigger man because you know who your master is. You even clocked in calling me your master, but you had to save face. The same way you saved face when you said, I'm accepting the proposition, but there's ambiguity, but the proposition is ambiguous and everything. Oh, my Lord, Nigeria. Like, that's not going to tell me much. Actually, man up, muster up the courage. The example I've told you, it can be extended to some sort of intentional context and assessed therein, or it can be divided within some sort of an instantiation or instances given out, and you can express them there. Stop being a clown. Muster up the courage if you truly have a zeal for your God, which was created by my God. Have some zeal, man up, and said, this is why this line of reasoning doesn't follow. One moment, listen, hold on. There is nothing about he accepted the propositions that I assumed to draw the reductio. He accepted the stances. He said, this stance is true, which I assume, and I draw the absurdity. This guy's a clown. He's trying to run away because he knows he's going to get clamped. The only thing he's doing is trying to show outdated examples to save face. But listen, nobody's saving face. Hold on. That's fine. Go on.
Okay.
2 minutes done?
Yeah. Just go 2 minutes in our time on my phone there. So that's why go ahead, 2 minutes. Give me a second.
Critical, I pity you. He said David Hume. This is the extent of anti-realism, David Hume.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I know you said the examples aren't analogous anyways to the opposition that takes off. So 1 point cry.
Hold on, Vienna, man.
Hello?
2 minutes starts now, yeah? When do you want the 2 minutes? You want to start now?
Yeah, go on.
Cool, start.
Bro, you are a disgrace to your religion.
And you are a disgrace to logic and rationality when you made a blunder on
You don't even have...
The average IQ in Nigeria is like 70. No wonder you're...
excuse me, you speak about Nigeria? Let's talk about your stupid country. Palestine or whatever. Which one?
I'm from the Gulf. I could buy
Which
you
one?
Which
Arab country? Which Arab country? Which Arab country you from?
I told you I'm from the Gulf. Yeah, you're upset. Look at him derailing. Look at him derailing. Look at him derailing. Which Arab country are you from? Therefore, Trinity is true.
Bro. If you interrupt him one more time, we're just gonna kick you out.
No, hold on. He interrupted me.
Look,
bro, it was his time to talk. What are you talking about?
I know, but he interrupted me.
Why is he interrupting me,
bro?
I didn't even interrupt you. Do
you want? Can I respond to what you said?
How could you interrupt you in short time?
Do you want? Can I assess what you said?
Vienna, bro, let him talk, bro.
Do you want? Can I assess what you said,
bro? If you don't let him talk right in 10
why
seconds,
is he interrupting me? Hello.
Anyways, you're critical. My slave. Go.
Okay, he's getting kids.
Your father is my slave. Your prophet is my slave.
Like he wants to, bro. It's like he wants to get kicked.
He keeps interrupting me, right? Because he knows that he's lost the argument.
Bro, there's no point.
No, it's because he knows he's lost the argument. He wants to go off with like some little TikTok clip. Oh, he told Critical that his country, that is literally one of the best. Mom's life. I don't know why he's crying, man. Look at all the pathetic Muslims in the comments.
Look at all the racist Arabs in comments. All Nigeria buy slaves. Like, guys, all of these guys are neeks. All of them are neeks. Which is all neeks.
You know what it is? Look. Wait, hold on, Luke and CriticalThomist. Bro, one of the Muslim guys was saying, oh yeah, bro, end showtime, let them do a back and forth. I said, nah, they're gonna derail, innit? But I said, you know what, maybe let's give it a chance, innit? Bro, I ended it. It was time for CT to talk. The guy's interrupting in the first 20 seconds. I'm saying, bro, chill out. If you keep interrupting him, then I'm just gonna kick you. He kept interrupting.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
Like,
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. It's something that I used to do before. When you know you've lost the argument, you just have to interrupt the person so that the people can just focus on something else. He lost the argument because if you clock what I said when I gave the difference between rationality and animality in a human being, he presupposed his stupid nominalistic theory onto it, and he tried to critique it from that standpoint. Then I said, look, you're begging the question. Then he went on an hour because he knows his fellow Muslim brothers are stupid. They don't know what he's talking about. So he went on an hour talking about intentional and extensional operators and blah, blah, blah. And they won't catch that. They're just going to hear him speak fast and be like, oh, critical's getting folded, when my smart Catholic and my smart Protestant brothers listen to me and they know that this guy is chatting worse. But
bro, yo,
all of them knew that he was literally interrupting because he did not know what he was talking about. And then when you literally said at the end, let CT respond to your garbage, he interrupted me in the first 20 seconds just to go out with like a crash out. He crashed out. So I feel so bad for him, man.
Wait, hello, how you doing?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, critical. Let's talk about what he was talking.
No, I'm done debating.
Look, one sec. Can I say one thing though? Critical, you're an apostate to masculinity and an apostate to reason. What do you feel about
that? Your prophet is the same.
You took very long to say that. You see, you took.
Bro, these guys are so wet. Like,
it took the whole.
I mean, look, what does the Bible say, right? The Bible literally says that they're, okay, wait, actually, you know what? Let me quote Apostle Paul, because they hate him so mad. Maybe if I use his exact words, they're going to wake up. Let me quote Apostle Paul real quick.
Bro, you see, like, these conversations are just so, just dead, bro. Like, you know, it's so crazy, because he wasn't even addressing your position. He was like, oh, yeah. Like, rationality and animality is only going to be conceptually different. No, they're not going to be just conceptually different under the Scotistic view.
Exactly.
Like, legit, the formalities import, like, something which is, like, actual. Like,
that conversation was so long, I even left the live just to come back.
You blasphemed first. When I responded, you kicked. What did he say? What did he say to you, Vienna?
Well, I never blasphemed him first. I just told him. I told him the Lord. I told him your Lord Jesus Christ or something like that, and he started crashing out.
What did he say to you, Vienna, first? Say in the comments.
For what I received, I passed through Christ died for the sins, that he was buried.
He said he called you a pagan.
I called him a pagan afterwards. Okay, Galatians 1:8-9. But even if we are an angel from heaven,
you were saying, but your God created his God. Is that not?
Yeah, he was saying that Allah created Jesus, and I called him a pagan. He was going back and forth. Look, if you've gone back and forth, don't complain about it. Like, stop being a high school, primary school kid. Oh, you started it. Shut up and be a man. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, wait, Seb, I don't think he was saying, he legit said 20, even 15 minutes ago, he was saying, his God created our God.
Yeah.
Legit blasphemy ages ago.
Bro, they say things first, and then when you see something bad, they try to play victim. It's so funny.
As we have said, so now I say again, if anybody is preaching to you a gospel other than what you accepted, let them be accursed. Ooh.
I said don't run you on. Run from who? Bring you up. Why should I bring you? You're not considered to be the best of the best or among the best in the Muslim group, bro.
And do you know the funniest thing? What he did when he initially came on the live was so disrespectful.
Because he came up is Eminem, you're not considered to be the best of the best among your group. So why would I rise you up? I'm not running for you.
Look. He came up. What he did was so disrespectful. So he came up and
why is Zanza keep calling? Zanza, stop calling me, bro. Stop billing my line.
Look, he came up and he was like, CriticalThomist, I just he's the only one that I know that I think that can speak on the Trinity or something.
Bro, I swear. Do you know this guy, bro?
Mm-hmm.
You know, bro, these guys are actually cooked. During while you were because you kept interrupting. I said if you keep interrupting, then I'm gonna kick you. I gave you bad warnings. I was being hella charitable with you.
Don't know excuses.
Do you want to say it? Because I got it recorded. You forget my lies recorded. Even if you got recorded, what I said was not wrong. So I don't know.
Bro, why are Muslims so perverted?
It's right. Hold on. Right. Imagine what's it called? I said that like water is H2O, so there isn't going to be any semantical difference. Like what the heck?
Bro, what? Look, this idiot said when it comes to water. Look, he said CT, he put his hands on you intellectually. What? Why are Muslims so perverted? Why are they so perverted?
This is read, right?
You honestly can't take them seriously, that's the honest truth. You literally can't take them
Why
seriously.
Why you bring me up so we can... Because there's no... Bro, it's because, one, you can't interrupt him, and two, it keeps going in circles, and three, you're not just in his position. He's legit. He's not a flipping Thomist. He doesn't believe irrationality and animality are just conceptually different. And I thought you knew the Scotistic position, then you'll know that it isn't just going to be...
Everything is carnal about them, bro. Everything's carnal about them. So true.
Nah, man. You also called you... Stop trolling, bro. I kicked you. I was going to keep you here, bro. I kicked you because you start talking about something else, Reed. I can't lie. Bro, Eminem. Bro, Eminem. Said water has a semantical difference. I said water doesn't have a semantical difference. Like water is going to be H2O. Like what the heck? Even when you read, I'm not gonna bring these. Wait, hold on. I want people to answer. Yo, Reed, let me ask you a question. Reed, is Eminem one of the good philosophers in your guys' group? No, that's false. So Eminem, why would I bring you up when there's people who are smarter than you? Does that make sense?
Who is Eminem?
Smarter than you?
Is that his name in the comments? Eminem.
Why would I bring you Eminem? I don't get.
He's the anti-guy. He's the anti-guy. But hey, yo, G1, just bring the Vienna guy back.
Wait, bring him up. Let me hear him.
Who?
Just let Vienna finish the conversation.
I'm asking that's why. Who doesn't want me to?
No, I don't want the Vienna guys.
You want the anti-Shabbat guy?
The Eminem, whoever Eminem is.
Oh my god, I said that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. In the city, oh yeah, my God created your God. That's legit. That's what the heck.
No, that was in relation.
S.Y. Hold on. Bear in mind, when Vienna said that, S.Y. did not say anything. Bear in mind, when Vienna said that, S.Y. did not say anything.
It's literally like the.
He did the same.
Bro. Hey, bro. Bro, if you don't want anyone to say anything, don't insult the person.
No, IRL. Look, IRL. You're like you call someone, you insult someone. You think they're gonna invoke your religion, bro?
Yeah, hold on.
Bro, if someone comes on my country,
it's like, bro.
IRL, you insult people's religion?
No, IRL. If you insult my religion, I'll insult his back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. Read. So if I was to say to you, right, during the conversation, in the middle of the discussion, has no relevance to what we're currently speaking about, but oh yeah, my God created your God, you would be offended, right? Because that's blasphemy, right? That's disrespect.
Wait, the thing is though, I believe that was in response to Critical Thomist saying that Jesus created you. You get me?
Jesus created him, doesn't mean he created Allah.
No, it's the same. Look, what do you want?
No, it isn't.
Jesus created him is the same as Allah created.
One second. Do you want? If you're saying that Jesus created him, then you're basically saying that Jesus and Allah is going to be co-extensional. He's basically saying
Jesus created.
And that's blasphemy.
The point is that
if he's saying that Jesus created Vienna or Jesus created him, right? That means in his world, it just means that Allah and Jesus are going to be co-extensional. So that's blasphemy.
Allah and Jesus are both going to be creators, but that
just doesn't mean that he's not saying that Allah within your belief is created, right? It just means that is actually Jesus Christ.
I understand what you're trying to say. It's not analogous to that certain extent, but it is analogous.
I'm saying what SY said, right, is far less disrespectful from what Vienna said. Because he stated, look, for example...
Okay, what metric are you...
Hold on. Vienna, hold on.
Yeah.
Vienna, if, look, for example, he's saying, okay, cool, right, my God created you, right? If he was to say the same thing, I wouldn't really care. See, Critical Thomist, hold on. Critical Thomist is not going to really care, right? Because you believe that God created everything, sure, right? That's within your belief system. But then if you're saying, oh, my God created your God, you're gonna be like, okay, cool. Now you're just kind of taking it, you're taking.
Wait, isn't he not just conveying his worldview though? Like obviously,
he said.
I believe within both worldviews, they both are blasphemous, but that's a given within their worldview. Because Critical Thomist does believe that. Wait, hello.
Yes, speaker.
Those two propositions are going to be a given within both
the degree of the
propositions.
One second. The proposition that Jesus created everything, and then also Jesus is created by God. Those are going to be a given.
That was the proposition which was expressed, though.
One second, though. Those both propositions are going to be within the both worldviews they're given. So if you're saying that that's going to be disrespectful, then it's going to be disagreeing with their worldview. Then, like,
no.
And obviously, one second, you that disrespectful metric that you're going by is just subjective. You're saying that, let's say a Muslim comes up, right, and he says that is the most disgusting blasphemy I've ever heard. What makes your statement more
that Jesus created him?
One second. Yeah. That statement right there.
That's fine.
What makes your statement more virtuous than his?
No one said
that's not okay. Wait,
you never made the statement. Hold on, this way. Hold on. You never made that statement again. You're kind of trying to substitute the statement or just cogitate like another proposition in this case. The proposition which CT expressed and the proposition that Vienna expressed was not the same in any instance. But even if you substitute Allah, right, for Jesus or Jesus for Allah, they don't indicate the same thing. Because CT said...
within Islam, that's the biggest blasphemy, though.
Hold on, brother. He said, CT said, he said his God created him, the individual, right? But he's saying that Allah created the belief or his God or whatever. That's completely different statements.
And Reed, keep in mind. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just keep in mind, right? I do not blaspheme Islam, but when I'm talking to him and he's stubborn and arrogant, I'm just gonna say Jesus, the Lord your God, whatever. And if he responds by saying, oh, Allah created Jesus, blah, 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 that's completely fine. Let's debate about the facts. But he's the one that seems to be complaining that I was blaspheming him by saying that. I'm not the one.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay, I often do this. So let's say a religion has like some sort of metric of blasphemy. Let's say that metric itself, though, you don't.
Listen, G1, here's the thing, right? Based on their paradigm, what CT said would be blasphemy. Like based on their paradigm,
I agree. Look, I mean, if I go to a Muslim and spread them the gospel, of course, according to the Muslim, it's going to be blasphemous according to the. That's not the point, though, because for me, if I'm talking to a Muslim and he's being you'll need so much. Yo, if I'm talking to a Muslim and he's being stubborn, arrogant, or he's trying to get some, because I could see it. I could see what he was doing, Reed. He was trying to get TikTok clips out of me. Let's just be real. Trying to get those stupid TikTok clips. And I tell him, look, Jesus is the Lord your God, because I see what he's doing. And then he tells me, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then he responds with, Allah created my God, whatever. I don't really see that as like, okay, fine, he's probably he is blaspheming according to my framework. But I don't see that as like, this. Fine, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. Let's debate about it though. Let's talk about if your God actually created my God or something like that. Maybe later in the future. I'm not complaining about it. He's the one complaining about it. Exactly. And I don't really care. I don't care. I do not care.
Wait, then if you didn't care, then you wouldn't have dropped him. Then if you didn't care, then you wouldn't have dropped him. One second, you guys dropped him due to some sort of cumulative case, and one of the factors.
I didn't drop him.
I'm the one who dropped him. But what was the case?
Oh. Yeah. Do you want? I'm saying you gave a cumulative case. You said that's going to be one of the factors that contributed to the fact.
Oh no! The reason why G1 dropped him, Reed, was not because of the blasphemy. The reason why he dropped him was because he took 2 minutes to talk, and then when it was my time to talk. Literally 20 seconds, 15 seconds in, he's consistently interrupting me with blasphemy.
Exactly.
Oh, but you can't. It wasn't it showtime though, or
it was showtime.
It was showtime. It was my 2 minutes. He knew it was my 2 minutes, and he interrupted me the first 15 seconds.
It was showtime, right? Vienna said something in showtime, then I ended it, right? So when his 2 minutes ended it, I ended the showtime itself, meaning that it was CT's turn to respond, right? Because I saw in the comments a Muslim said, "Oh, let them go back and forth." Then I said, cool, CT's time is to talk right now. Cool, let me get a timer. I want a time in 2 minutes. They can go back and forth. It's still only, using, what's it called, short time, right? Because that's just a hassle. So in the 10 seconds, right, by the timer start, where CT was responding, the guy legit interrupted. Then I said, bro, chill out, right? Start interrupting. Carried on interrupting. I said, bro, start interrupting the guy. If you keep interrupting the guy, I'm going to kick you. Kept interrupting. I said it 2 to 3 more times. He kept doing it, so I kicked him. That was the reason.
Isn't that
about Nigeria? No. Okay. Hold on, relax, right? Both parties said something disrespectful, right? But when G1
the disrespect isn't what I kicked him for.
Exactly, no, but G1 needs to stop interrupting, and he kept talking, and then he made a comment about Nigeria, and then G1 just dropped
That wasn't the reason why I kicked him.
Yeah, that wasn't the reason why.
But isn't that no? I believe everything you said was mutual though. Like obviously there might be some.
No, listen, G1, that's not why G1 dropped him. G1 dropped because he kept interrupting.
Yeah, but look, the thing is, I believe it was mutual, but then you dropped one party for doing the same actions that the other party did.
No, I never
interrupted him, bro. No.
Yo,
look, prior to
this is so ridiculous
because I don't know when he joined. Prior to showtime, they kept doing it.
I've been here the whole time.
When he was doing showtime, when he was doing it, I didn't interrupt him.
That means That means if he was here the whole time, prior to showtime being established, they kept interrupting each other, right?
Yeah, both.
Yes, sure. In that respect, or in that time frame, yes, it would be mutually agreed that if one of them interrupted each other, then I can kick them. But then we establish a showtime, saying, okay, cool, we're gonna go back and forth, right? Now we did showtime. Cool. It was CT's time to talk. He didn't interrupt him because legit he can't talk. It's showtime. Now it's Vienna's time to talk. Vienna's talking, wherever, cool. I ended showtime. Then legit CT was going to talk, right? And I timed it. Vienna interrupts. He keeps interrupting. So I kicked him in that established framework. I think that's fair.
So are you guys not interested in like a continued conversation or what?
No, it's no point.
No, I'm tired. The guy is boring.
Yeah, but critical. You made a statement though. You said the Muslims in the comments didn't understand the dialogue. You want me to like reiterate or regurgitate?
No. Oh, I mean, bro, come on now. Obviously, you understand. You're different. I'm saying the aggregate of the Muslims don't understand.
But yeah. If you look, the thing is critical. If you do actually want to discuss that same like argument that you were presenting,
okay. Wait. I want to see if you're honest. Are you an anti-realist?
Anti-realist in relation to what? There's like a lot of things you could be.
Yeah. Are you an anti-realist metaphysically speaking?
What does that even mean?
Are you Are you an anti-realist about universals, things like that? You're skeptic about universals. Are you like a nominalist.
If you're not committed to the worldview that these things are going to be external to the mind, that's not necessarily indicative of you being like some sort of.
I know. I'm just asking you, what are you? Oh, this is what I mean, man. Oh my God.
No, but that's very no. The thing is, that's very like ambiguous though.
What are you? That's what I'm asking, like, bro.
In relation to what?
I'm not trying to debate you. I'm just trying to get a point across. What are you metaphysically speaking? What's your metaphysical framework? You're not an Are you an Aristotelian? Are you a Neoplatonist? Or what do you consider yourself as? If you don't consider, like, what do you think about forms? I'm just trying to ask you something. I'm not trying to debate you. Like, I don't.
There are some things that that are ontologically committed that I'm committed to, and there are some things that I'm not. So it's not like.
What are those things though? Like, what are the things you're committed to?
Objects external to the mind. Sure, like
okay.
Reality. I'm a realist about reality.
That's what I've been trying to ask you the whole time. Yeah. Now, this guy, he seems to be a nominalist. When he was critiquing, actually, I don't know if I want to go on with this because you're definitely going to be dishonest. But the point is, when he was critiquing, the example that I brought about rationality and animality being formally not the same, whatever. And he was like, oh, but the persons in the Trinity are not formally distinct. They're only relatively distinct. Blah. Do you understand that he did not understand my argument? Because obviously, I never argued for the distinction of the persons. I was trying to show him the distinction of the persons from the essence. Do you understand that he was mistaken there?
No, I don't think his argument was hinged upon that. So he was trying.
Oh, that's not what I'm not asking about what his argument is.
I'll tell you what his contention was.
Exactly. This is what I mean, man.
He's saying whether or
I'm not asking you what he's saying.
I know. 1 second.
Read. Don't do this.
Yeah, sure.
Look, I don't want to interrupt you, please.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is that when I brought up, please, I know he's your Muslim brother, but let's just be honest for 1 second. When I brought up rationality and animality being formally not the same in G1, and I was trying to use that to analogically exercise the concept of the distinction between that and the distinction between the persons in the Trinity from the essence. And when he went on a rant almost for 2 minutes, talk about I'm dumb, I'm a modalist now, blah, 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 because I'm saying that the Son and the Father are only formally distinct. And that was not my point. I was trying to show the distinction between the persons from the essence. Do you see that he was mistaken on that point? Please, for the love of everything.
He was mistaken in like what, like misinterpreting what you were trying to argue for?
Yeah.
To be honest, not really sure either. Like the point was. One second, critical. Look, I'll tell you what. His argument was just hinged upon the absolute and relative being satisfying some sort of equivalence relation. That was his argument itself. Like invoking animality, rationality was tangential. No. Critical. 1 second. If someone invokes some sort of tangential point within the argument, there's no need for you to like even address the point because it has no bearing on the proposition. You know what
Read.
No.
I said from the beginning he's not going to be honest, and I respect it. I respect it because you want to defend your brother. But I'm telling you right now that the reason why I do not want to continue debating him is because of that dishonesty that you guys have, and it's so ridiculous on TikTok. All you guys do is try to generate stupid clips. Look, I am telling you that when I brought up the distinction, he went for 2 minutes yapping about how I'm dumb, modalist, whatever. And he did not know the whole time that I was talking about the distinction of the persons from the essence. Because what he's trying to do is, he's trying to say that because the persons are relatively opposing each other, because of the equivalency relation between that opposition and the fact that the persons have the same divine existence, then the divine existence of the two persons are also going to be relatively opposing each other. And I said that the identity relation between the persons from the essence and the persons from each other are different. So the equivalency relation doesn't necessarily follow.
I understand that.
I'm not talking about why his argument is false. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying when I brought that up, he was mistaken. He was mistaken. And he didn't even want to understand why he was mistaken. He went on for 2 minutes on a rant about how I'm dumb, whatever, or how I'm a heretic, whatever. That's why
I understand that, but the thing that's the issue within this conversation was he's trying to deduce some sort of equivalence relation from that worldview. And what you're trying to do is just like say that they're different. And he's trying to say that that's going to be question begging.
You keep saying, look, you keep saying, he keeps saying that's what he's trying to do this, he's trying to do this. I'm saying when he did interpret me in that way, he was mistaken. You seem to agree. You just don't want to say it on TikTok. And I understand.
What do you mean you seem to agree?
You just don't want to say it. You don't want to say he was mistaken.
Nothing that I said was indicative of that, bro. I'm just saying that.
Completely fine. Whatever. I don't even care at this point.
But critical. Look, the thing is, if you and let's say we're having a conversation, and I invoke some sort of tangential point. Let's say we're arguing for God's existence. I'm also the atheistic position, and you make it. Let's say you invoke some sort of mirror. Do I have to actually address that point of?
That's not has nothing to do with my reading.
But I'm asking you that question though.
It has nothing to do with my.
Yeah, but look, critical. This is an analogy and a question. So I'm asking you a question.
But why are you asking me a question that has nothing to do with my point?
No, that's literally my point. If you're saying what I'm saying is indicative of that, then I'm asking you a question to prove that it's not. It's distinct from where you're trying to like.
No. I'm just trying to explain to you that he was mistaken when he was listening to me, and he did not want to admit that he was mistaken because he didn't want people on TikTok to think anything.
Wait. One second. When you're saying he's thinking that those are like regarding mental states, intentionality, those are going to be epistemically private. He never conveyed those.
Obviously, the epistemically private. Okay, see.
Yeah, but he never conveyed those.
Reed is doing the same thing.
Well, he was mistaken. Wait, hold on. He was mistaken.
No, but he never conveyed. He never conveyed these epistemically private matters.
He did convey.
So if you're,
he did kind of convey it. I would argue that he did.
Well, he did. Lolo, for example, are you familiar with the Scotistic position when it comes to like the Trinity or like distinctions or whatever?
I haven't read upon it for like 6-7 months. No, reaffirm it.
Okay, cool. So, So when it comes to like Scotist's view on distinctions, right, it's going to be vastly different from the Thomistic ideas, right?
Exactly.
Especially like a formal distinction, right? Because a formal distinction isn't just going to be a conceptual distinction. A formal distinction isn't just going to be a conceptual distinction, like how it's denoted within the Thomistic tradition, right?
Yeah.
A formal distinction is going to be a difference between formalities, and these formalities are like, are you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Risa's profile. I was trying to check if she was a baddie, but never mind. Continue though.
Sky.
Sorry, bro. Well, I was just checking, bro.
Bro, this guy's not focused.
No, continue.
Hey, this guy lost focus, bro.
He's not serious, man.
Well, I'm serious, bro. I was just checking, bro.
You're not serious, bro. Not serious.
Yo, just continue though.
Yeah, so formalities themselves signify like a nature or a function of the thing itself, right? So they import something which like is actual in some type of sense, right? Regarding to like the particular entity. But that's not how it's posited when it comes to Aquinas, when it comes to like rationality and animality. Like rationality and animality is only going to be like minor virtually distinct, right? Which isn't just going to be merely intentional. But in respect to like Scotist, like it's going to be something which corresponds to the entity in some type of way, right? Like that's where he gave examples like, oh yeah, when we talk about the intellect of the man, right? We're not talking about what's it called, the sensitive appetite or any like organic faculties in relation to it, right? Yeah, so we can see like the formalities themselves import something like in reality in some type of way in which we can say right is really different, right, or formally different, but it doesn't really like impede at the same. But oh yeah, now there's like different existences, right? And that's the example which he was given. But then he was assuming, he said, no, like, okay, cool, you're just saying, but there's only going to be a virtual distinction or conceptual distinction, which isn't what Scott.
Yeah, I do, and I understand what you're trying to say. Like, I understand that there's different notions when it comes to real distinctions and other worldviews, even worldview that he's not even going to be committed to within his argument. But the issue that what I'm trying to say is, what is a contradiction? A contradiction is going to be an affirmation, negation of the same very proposition, right? So if you, let's say hypothetically, CriticalThomist holds to X within his worldview, and then a logical consequence of another worldview is going to be not X. Whether or not like that notion within your worldview is going to be different or conceptually different doesn't matter, as long as that proposition is going to be the same proposition, whereas it's an affirmative and an affirmation and negation within the same worldview, then that's a contradiction, and that's going to be an inconsistent worldview. That's what his point was was hinged
we
upon.
we know like the inference which is being made by these propositions and which was put forth. We understand that. But I'm saying that when it came to like these propositions, like these propositions was addressed by CriticalThomist, by him stating his position and giving examples how it doesn't collapse in this type of way, and even stated that, oh yeah, when it comes to, for example, the equivalence relation between what's it called, the persons and the essence, right? It isn't going to be the same in a certain respect in which he tried to like denote in this context or connote in this context.
The inference being made, I think one of the points that he tried to argue against Critical was that Critical, quote unquote, made a blunder within Vienna's worldview, because he said that a validity is going to be context or subject matter dependent. Where
That's what we said.
That's not what I. Yeah, you are a liar. You are a liar.
No, because
You're
I'll
a
tell you.
very disastrous liar.
No, because you said that there's gonna be some things within the propositions that are ambiguous that make the argument invalid. That's what you said. I remember.
You said deductive reasoning. Wait, hold on. You said deductive reasoning.
I know that, but he said that the premises within the argument that he's presenting, if they are ambiguous, then it's going to negate the validity of the argument itself. That's what he mentioned. Basically,
that's not what I said.
One second. The logical consequence of that. One second. The logical consequence of that worldview is going to be the validity is subject or matter dependent. You get me?
That's not what he said.
That's not what I said. You flipping dimwits.
That's what he said. He agreed that when it comes to deductive reasoning, it doesn't depend on when it comes to the validity of the argument, it doesn't depend on like the premises being true or not, right? Because it's going to be context independent. He agreed to that. Did you?
And that's going to be the widely accepted view within literature.
But the point that he was making pertaining to the statement itself, he was accepting the statement, not accepting it to be true, but accepting it insofar that he's going to assess the statement itself to see if further qualified because it wasn't.
I think that caused a lot of misunderstanding, though. When he said that he accepted the proposition, I think within that framework, he meant that proposition.
No. You can't say it caused a lot of misunderstanding because You can't say that because when I clarified, he rejected the clarification consistently. Why? Why did he reject the clarification, Reed? Because he knew that I knew that his stupid argument doesn't follow. But if he focuses on my objection to his stupid argument, then there's nothing that he can say anymore. So he has to focus. He has to focus on the way that I use a term. The way that I use the term, I accept someone into the term accept can be used in different ways. This is very obvious. For example, I could have someone that's not a Christian. I accept them into my house. That doesn't mean that I accept their lifestyle. That doesn't mean that I accept their religion. That doesn't mean that I accept their belief system. Like when I say I accept a proposition, right? The term accept, and it has nothing to do with the substance of the argument. He just kept hinging on this stupid point to try. The term accept, the way that I'm using it, is to say, okay, cool. I will grant you the truth of that proposition. I will grant you the truth of that statement. If you specify it. If G1 says Rissa is a nice person, I'm gonna be like, okay, wait, nice in what way? You mean like nice, like as in general?
That's it anyway.
Because sometimes she's a bit rude, whatever. And then I'd be like, okay, I can understand. I would say, G1, I can understand what you're saying, or G1, I can accept what you're saying if you mean it in this way. That's how some people talk. You know, not everyone talks like an Arab. Get used to it.
Wait, critical. By the way, what you just said is indicative of you holding the position that validity is going to be subject matter dependent.
Oh man!
One second. Because you said that if this proposition is going to be true, then it's going to follow.
That's not what.
One second. Follow is going to be a property of validity, and validity is going to be subject matter dependent and independent insofar as your worldview.
No.
You believe that?
It's not that no, you're mistaken. Okay, this is the last time I'm gonna say this, and then, bro, if you keep talking, I'm just gonna leave it because I don't want to debate, and I'm tired of this. I'm actually tired.
Yeah, no worries. What time is it for you? Probably in the UK. What time is it?
10 p.m.
Yeah, it's 4 p.m. from here now.
Look, it's not about the truth or the validity of the argument resting upon the middle term. It's about me just saying, okay, cool. I will conclude that what you're saying is true because obviously truth is reflective. I have to actually comprehend what you're saying in order for me to actually say, okay, yeah, this is true. So I will conclude that what you're saying is true if you specify what you mean. Human beings actually do. I don't have anything against Arabs, but it's just annoying, like the way some Muslims try to. Please, just be a normal human being. If G1 says, "Yo, Ronaldo's a better player than Messi," wait, hold up, in what way? Oh, you mean like by shot power? You mean by his attitude? Oh, I mean, yeah, I can accept that. Oh, but you mean by skills? Nah, I think Messi's a bit better. It's not as if the truth of the statement depends.
Messi is better, by the way.
It's completely false, but it's not as if I'm just saying that I will accept what he's saying. I will assume or accept or believe that what he's saying is true if he specifies the statement. It's that simple. It's that simple, Reed. It's that simple. Please, like what?
Yeah. Look, so you said if I talk more, you're just gonna dip, but you're probably tired. Yeah. We can. I'll tell you this though. Next time we can discuss Ronaldo and Messi regarding their accolades, whoever is better, and in regards to the metric that you're trying to apply. And then after that, we can actually discuss the topic that he wanted to discuss. Yeah, whatever.
Am I getting hate in the comments?
It's weird. It's actually weird.
Yeah.
These guys act as if they don't talk to human beings in real life. It's actually very weird.
One second. Yo, Rissa, who's bothering you, but?
Yo, look at this guy. Maybe like some one night. Go to bed, bro.
The guy with the Arabic writing.
PM, okay, he's getting.
Yo, Athari, chill out, broski. Why you like knocking on my shorty, bro?
Thank you.
Yeah, hello on her, broski.
Bro, I swear, if you let a Muslim guy flirt with you, I will literally just end it, bro.
Yo, CriticalThomist, what you gonna do? You're at the youth, broski. You ain't doing nothing. I'm talking to her right now.
No, I don't want it.
Are you not married? Wait, hold up. I clocked something. Wait, are you not married?
I have a shorty, yeah, but like I don't care.
Yo, this guy's a cheat. This guy with multiple wives, eh?
Broski, I don't care. I got a shorty, but like it doesn't matter.
With multiple wives, eh?
This is what happens. So he can have multiple wives and that.
Because I clocked it. I was like, wait, hold up. I said,
Yo, I'm dead.
Alright, but yo, take care. But yeah, Rizza, may God bless you, bro.
Yeah. Go to your show.
Yeah, go.
This guy is crazy.
Go to your show, man.
Wait, he's not even like he has a girlfriend. He's married.
He's tapped, though. He's tapped, though.
He's married. Like,
wait, how?
I'm trying to see. He's a baddie. I'm crying.
He's like, bro, he's young, bro. He's like 19 or 18 or something like that.
Damn, and he's married. Damn.
Look at what you're doing. You're not married and you're older than him.
Bro. I'm chilling, man. I want to live the Apostle Paul life.
By choice or the girls not like you?
You already know I'm leng, so let's not do this.
Look at this guy, bare flirting. Oh my.
No, I'm not flirting. I'm just stating the fact.
He's stating the true little proposition, bro.
I'm stating the truth independent proposition.
Yo, what time did the conversation even start? Because I feel like I just came at the end still.
Bro, you should be happy. You should rejoice that you came at the end, bro. This conversation, I don't know how long it was going for, bro, but it was going for, I think, maybe more than an hour. Probably an hour, 30 minutes or something like that.
Nah.
But let me actually check.
Wait, was this the same live from before? Actually, no. That's why I was the one that was live.
That's crazy. Yeah, so like practically 2 hours plus, bro. And they wanted to carry on with the conversation. Yeah, these guys are